Hey YouTube, I'm here at my desk and here we have a camera down on the desk working video today. I'm excited because first of all, my kits with Schiffer Publishing will be released on October 1st. They're already on Amazon for pre-order. Many of you have already purchased them. Thank you so much. But this is a project that I've been working on for over a year now, about a year and a half. And it's a vision come true where I love the Silk Road. I love the influences of the Silk Road. Many of you who have been following me for a long time know I love anthropology and archaeology. We have our old walls on the gel plate and all that good stuff. Our yummy, grungy books. And this is an extension of all of that in these kits. But what I'm excited, it's even more than this. This is like a journey in a box. And I wanted to take the time to share them with you and sort of show what I've been doing with them a little bit. For those of you who might just be stumbling upon my channel, hi, I'm Robin McClendon. I'm a mixed media artist and I'm a book artist. And yeah, we do collage, decorative papers, you know, we've been working on our pauses, which is a way of recalibrating our nervous systems to just be in joy and happiness and passion and in our studios and having a great time. So stick around if it's your first time here, if you like mixed media stuff, and let me go ahead and start showing you what's going on. So this one is called European Scripts. And the first thing I love about this packaging is that even the belly band you can use. It's a nice, beautiful cardboard weight, even if you print it on the inside of it. I tried to make this be minimal waste. And then what's left is this wonderful box. So you have this magnetic opening. Silk Road Chronicles. There is this wonderful book in it. Each box has its own guidebook, and the guidebook in every box is completely different because there's a storyline. So it was created, like I said, inspired by the Silk Road. I'll read a little bit here. As an archaeomythologist, Cheyenne integrates art with science, weaving together history, myth, culture to empower herself via her reporting and her audience. Accompanied by her loyal companion, an owl familiar named Matus, she uncovers hidden treasures and forges unexpected alliances while embracing her own heritage and identity. Prepare to be inspired and for your art to be forever changed by the unexpected finds from along the ancient Silk Road. So then we have Cheyenne's journal. So it's a lot of journaling that goes on in each of these. The journal story picks up from where the last book, the storybook in each box ended. And there's beautiful inspirational pictures in here, just like the Schiffer book. Many of you have already started receiving your pre-orders, are just like reaching out to me, just loving the project. So there's a lot of gorgeous pictures. These are all images of my art. I'm using a lot of ephemera in the pieces, and you know, I sort of show that as well. There's the storyline. Let me just start off this right. So I sit amidst a sea of parchment and ink in my cozy studio, surrounded by the whispers of ancient civilizations, sifting through these papers collected from so many reading rooms and shopkeepers and other unexpected encounters. I'm transported back to the countless hours I spent on the Silk Road, researching the artistry of the written word. So that's just a little beginning, but there's a storyline in here, so you get to go on the journey along with me. And then there's also a guidebook. So there are techniques. So in here, I'm showing you various techniques that I'm using. So it's like a tutorial in a box, literally. I show you all the materials. I show the step-by-step of how I'm using my stamps. Of course, traditionally, but I'm also using stamps differently with my fountain inks on the gel plate. So there's a lot of techniques to sort of make the prints look like you're using ink it really looks more of an inked look than a stamp pad. And I do use the stamp pads as well. Like for instance, that would be a stamp pad. And this right here is ink. So you can sort of see the difference. So I'm showing the various techniques that I like to use throughout the book. So there's a lot of tutorials going on in here. And like I said, it's like a workshop in a box. And then we're back to some of my images that I've used using old ephemera. This is from the stamps. This is some of my scripting. Every piece that I'm creating is integrating. We also have 2 stencils are in the book. They're mask/stencils. Great for the gel plate. Great for making some wonderful marks and prints into your work. These are all from my images. These are all stamped from this kit. Everything on here, even though it looks like an old document, all of that has been stamped from the foam stamps are in this kit. And this is on a piece of artwork that I've worked in sort of the field note style. And then in here, in homage to Griffin and Sabine, there's this wonderful little, I'm gonna keep something surprised, but there's a pull out here that has a piece of art in it, and every one of these will have this in there. So it's like the book is actually not only something to help inspire your journaling, but it also has a lot of surprises as well. These are the 2 stencil masks. They're in my intuitive scripting style. And so they're just really fun to use on the gel plate, in pattern and printmaking, in your work. All of the designs here are either lifted from historical documents, or it's my redrawing of historical imagery, as well as leaning into my own intuitive scripting. I'm sharing all of that in these kits. So these are just amazing. They come in this glassine envelope. Everything is designed to be able to be reused. I just didn't want any extra packaging that you guys couldn't use. And so that can be used. The stencils came in that. And then this is the foam stamp. So in this one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Old World. One of my Old World intuitive scriptings. These are all taken from old documents. And I know when I'm recreating old documents, the hardest thing I have is finding really unusual postal codes or seals, the different seals. This came off a French document. This is some more text that came out of documents, just to keep on giving that really wonderful, just move this out the way a bit so you can see. Like for instance, these are the stamps. This is it stamped in gold. Look how good that looks. And so that's one of the seals. That's one of the stamps. And you know how much we love getting our, just that old world scripting on things. So some more examples, working with them. So these pop out so they can be used, you know. I love the quality of these stamps as well. These foam, we went through a lot of different foam to find one that actually was very, you know, you got a really good print, but at the same time, it was firm enough to be able to use various type of paints. Like you can literally use block printing inks on these, and they really print beautifully. So each one of these pops out. You can keep them in the foam if you'd like. Everything fits back in the box, so you don't have to go figuring out how you're going to store anything. It all goes right back in the box, snaps closed. And then this right here, it has a spine, just like a book. Love it. Yeah. And then you can slide this right on your shelf in your studio, and everything is there. So when it's time to use it again, you know, you can just go grab it off. And Schiffer did such an amazing job. I mean, look, it just looks like a book all the way around. I love the detail that we paid attention to in this project. On the front are the various art that I've created from it. And one of the things I've shared with many of you, you already know that if you purchase the kits before October 1st, it will enter you into a workshop. It's going to be a free, the workshop is going to be totally free to anybody who purchases the kits before October 1st. The workshop is going to happen around between the 30th of October and the very first week in November. I'm still firming up the date, but everybody who does purchase the kit, you'll just email me at info@robinmcclendon, the receipt for your purchases, wherever you purchase it from, Amazon or Schiffer, wherever, and then that'll enter you into the workshop. We'll send you out an email, blah, 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 when the time comes when I announce the date. So just know that that's coming. This one is the second kit that will also be out is on Asian. So this is all Asian. Imagery. And here you can see the book is different. And in here, there is another entry into Cheyenne's journal. The story continues. Oh, look at that. I love this piece that I created. That's from one of the stamps. This is from the stamps. So I'm going to be showing in the workshop exactly how I'm creating these collages. It's a different collage style that I created for this project. It's a bit different than I've been working, but it's a combination of field notes, of postal art, and collage. So you can see it's just such yumminess in here. Here again, there are various techniques in here, and a lot of times I add various techniques depending on the stamps or the type of stamps they are. So the techniques will continue to evolve. This is another example. These are all from the kits. And then again, once again, in the back, there is a different treat. Each one is going to have a different piece of my art in there and different inspiration. So that goes like that. And then we have the stamps and stencils that are going to be in here. These are the stencils or masks. These are more Asian inspired, just to get some really good patterning here again. And then this is the foam stamps. And you can see they're all Asian inspired. Postal marks. These are all lifted from 18th century journal, old books and what have you. So they're all authentic, but yet just beautifully done. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in this one. Each one will have different ones depending on, I wanted to make sure we used as much of the foam, but at the same time, I wanted to vary the sizes. So they're all the sizes are all designed to be such that they work well inside of books, inside of collage. I didn't want them so big, or I didn't want them too small. So here are some Asian ones. I'm showing how I'm working with the gold inks, double stamping, to really just create some really beautiful drama. Here. So yeah, come along and join me in this journey. It's all about, you guys know I love art mythos, telling our stories visually. And this project is, to me, the culmination of everything that I've taught in my workshops, you know, on here on YouTube. Everywhere I talk, I'm always talking about your visual vocabulary, telling your stories visually, knowing what your image is, what your storyline is, or at least exploring it, and to the the whole culmination of art mythos. And this is an opportunity now to actually walk, my community and those people who are coming across my work, and you really just want to add depth and substance to your art, to what you're doing. This is a step-by-step journey along with me. All of these, everything in the kits are all Angel products. You can use them in your work. You can use them to sell your art. I'm about helping artists develop so that at some point you absolutely feel proud about calling yourself an artist. You don't feel like, oh, I might not want to call, I hear that a lot. No, it's just about connecting at a place that you feel authentic. And when you feel authentic, you can do anything. So in the workshop, we're going to play with old documents, with scripting, with using these stamps and what have you to create these old, sort of old world looking papers. This is on wet strength paper, and then gluing them down and being able to create some yummy collages that still have an old world look, that look authentic, look like you may have been able to find them in the flea markets. And also a part of this project I want to share with you guys now because I'm excited. I'm actually going to be doing some workshop retreat tours along the Silk Road. Yeah, I'm working with a woman in Portugal who does all kinds of retreats and journeys, and we're producing a Silk Road tour. I've always wanted to go on the Silk Road. It was always on my bucket list, but it's not the place that you just kind of pop up, oh, I'm going to go to Uzbekistan. I mean, especially if you're from America or far west, if you live in those regions, sure, or Istanbul or Cappadocia or Nepal, but she tours all these places. She's been to these places, and so we've started putting these trips together, and the first one is going to be end of March, early April to Uzbekistan. It is going to be amazing, between the architecture, visiting old carpet and fabric manufacturers, to paper makers and book artists, and all the spots in between. Of course, the bazaars and the open markets, and it's all completely designed to take care of all you have to do is show up with your suitcase. You don't have to think about anything else. And then I'm going to be working on helping to develop storyline, seeing how I, go to a place the first time, and how I begin to look at symbols and signs and all that stuff and incorporate it into my work. So this is a part of a much larger project. So starting with getting your kits, it can be from anywhere from the kits to doing workshops with me that are going to be using so many of these kits, to actually joining me in some of these exotic places. It's not always going to be a lot of spots, 14 spots or so. But for those of you who've always wanted to go to these places like me, keep a listen out for that. But yeah, this is a much larger project that is starting with these kits and just expanding out into so many diverse areas that will feed our souls as an artist. So I wanted to share this with you all. I'm very excited. Please, comment, ask questions, anything that you need to know. But I really wanted to give you a deeper insight into the kit, so that, that's with the stamp, but just using the inks and just having it all runny and old world. Of course, they stamp pristine, but, to actually incorporate them into the work. Here's that same stamp right there, and then this is the stamp in there, and then so this journal is being built around this whole journey. So as always, love you guys. Thank you for hanging out, and sort of me showing you a little bit how I'm going to be working with the stamps. And so if you're so inclined, jump in, get yourself the kits, and that'll get you into the workshops. It's gonna be a really fun intensive that we'll share together on this journey. I'm excited. I hope you guys are as well, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. And we'll be back next week for our next pause. We'll pick up there and just keep moving along. Alrighty, love you guys. Have an amazing week. I'm off to Scotland to do some more exploring and looking for symbols and signs, and just going deeper into my art around travel. And I know you guys enjoy it as well. So I'll be sharing that with you too. Take care. Love you guys. See you soon.